In the heart of rural Maine, nestled between forgotten hills and darkened pine forests, lies a road few speak of, and even fewer dare to travel after nightfall: Old Cutter's Pass. The name doesn't appear on modern maps, and those who live nearby only refer to it in whispers, like uttering it aloud might summon something best left alone. That stretch of cracked pavement, overgrown with moss and memories, has a reputation so thick with dread that it clings to you long after you've left. Years ago, a young man named Daniel Pierce returned to his hometown of Brook Hollow after nearly a decade of city life. He was 32, recently divorced, and emotionally hollow, seeking solace in the quiet his childhood home promised. The house, inherited after the death of his estranged father, stood just a few miles from Cutter's Pass, surrounded by dense trees that groaned and shifted with the wind. Daniel hadn't been back since he was a teenager, but something about the isolation appealed to him now. He didn't remember the town being so still. Streets that once buzzed with activity were silent. Shops closed earlier. People avoided eye contact, spoke in clipped sentences, and always seemed in a hurry to get home before dusk. When he asked a cashier at the local market about the change, she offered only a vague smile and said, "Some places grow quieter with time." Then she added, "Don't drive down the old pass after dark. The fog rolls in." Daniel chuckled at first. Fog was nothing new. He'd lived in San Francisco for 6 years. He knew fog, but something about the way she said it, like it was more than just weather, made his skin prick. 3 nights later, restless and unable to sleep, Daniel decided to drive. He wasn't headed anywhere in particular, just out. The moon was high, and the sky was clear, too clear for fog. He took the long way, winding past the town's edge, and without really thinking, he found himself approaching Old Cutter's Pass. The sign was barely legible, its letters faded and chipped, leaning like it had tried to fall but changed its mind halfway down. Daniel paused. The forest ahead swallowed the road in darkness, but curiosity tugged at him stronger than caution. He turned in. The temperature dropped almost instantly. He turned off the radio. The road narrowed, winding like a snake through the woods. Then the fog came. Not gently, not slowly, but all at once. One moment, the trees were visible. The next, everything was white. Dense, unnatural fog wrapped the car in silence. Daniel slowed, heart racing. He could see barely a few feet ahead. The headlights did nothing, their beams bouncing back like they were striking a wall. He considered turning around, but the road was too tight. He pressed forward slowly, gripping the wheel. Then movement, just ahead. Something crossing the road. A shape, human, barefoot. He slammed the brakes. The figure turned slowly, and Daniel's breath caught. It was a woman wearing a tattered white nightgown, soaked at the hem. Her hair was long, dark, and matted. Her face was pale, unnaturally so, but it was her eyes that rooted him in place. Empty sockets, not closed lids, not shadows, hollow voids. She raised her arm, pointing at him, mouth opening like a scream, but no sound came. Daniel threw the car into reverse, heart hammering against his chest. The tires spun, traction lost in the fog-dampened road. He finally backed up enough to turn, and without looking again, he sped back toward town, tires screeching. When he reached home, he stumbled out of the car, breathing like he'd run a marathon. He didn't sleep, just sat in his kitchen with the lights on, listening. The next morning, the fog was gone. Everything was normal. Birds chirped, wind rustled leaves. But Daniel was changed. He asked around, casually at first, about the road, the fog, the woman. Everyone shut down. Some walked away mid-conversation. An old man sitting outside the diner mumbled, "She walks when the fog comes." always has. Daniel spent the day researching. Cutter's Pass had once been a well-traveled shortcut connecting two parts of town. In the 1950s, it was closed after a series of disappearances. The final incident involved a woman named Evelyn Black. She'd been walking home from her fiance's house one night when a thick fog rolled in. She never made it back. Her body was never found, but her bloodied nightgown was discovered hanging in a tree along the pass. Local legend claimed she'd been lured into the woods by something in the mist, something that showed her what she wanted most before dragging her into the trees. Over time, people said she began appearing to travelers caught in the fog, trying to warn them, or perhaps trying to bring them with her. Daniel wanted to believe it was just a story, an overactive imagination brought on by stress and poor sleep. But the more he tried to reason it away, the louder the silence around the town seemed to grow. One night, he installed cameras around his property. Another night, he placed one on the hood of his car and waited. The fog didn't return for a week, but when it did, it came without warning. He was at home sitting by the fireplace when he noticed the trees outside disappearing. Fog curled around the base of the pines like fingers. Daniel's breath caught. He ran to the front door and stepped onto the porch. Everything was white. Then came the knock. Not on the front door, but on the window beside him. He turned, heart in his throat. She was there, the woman from the road, closer now, soaked gown, black hair, hollow eyes. Her mouth moved, shaping a word he couldn't hear. He reached for the doorknob, not to open it, but to steady himself. But his hand wouldn't move. It was cold, frozen. The air around him grew dense, thick, suffocating. Then just as suddenly, she was gone. The fog lifted like a curtain, revealing nothing but trees. When he checked the camera footage the next morning, the video was scrambled, static and distortion. But one frame frozen in the haze showed her face inches from the lens. Daniel decided to leave town. He packed everything he could and drove, not stopping for gas until he was hours away. But something followed. The fog returned, in a motel in Vermont. Then again, weeks later, in upstate New York. Always at night, always sudden, and always with her at the center. Daniel became a ghost himself, drifting between towns, avoiding sleep, avoiding roads at night. He spoke to others online who claimed to have seen her. The details varied, but the essence remained. Evelyn's spirit had been consumed by whatever lurks within the fog, and now she roamed, a harbinger for something darker. Something that rides the mist like a wave, seeking those who see her, those who notice her. He tried to warn people, posting on forums, uploading blurry footage, begging others to avoid Cutter's Pass. But most saw it as urban legend, entertainment. Some even drove out there looking for her. None returned. Daniel's final message appeared on a ghost forum 3 months ago. If you see the fog, don't stop. Don't slow down. Don't look at her. Keep your eyes forward. Drive no matter what you hear, no matter who you think you see in the rearview mirror. Because if you look back, she gets in. No one has heard from him since. But if you ever find yourself in Maine and you take a wrong turn late at night and the fog comes quickly and thick, wrapping around your car like a noose, you'll know. You're on Cutter's Pass. Don't stop. Don't breathe. And for God's sake, don't look into the fog.